Hey guys, Tyler here. So, Cyberpunk 2077, you've probably heard of it, and you might have even played it too. But how much do you know about its world? Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's based on the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG, also known as Cyberpunk 2020 or Cyberpunk Red, to distinguish it from the overall cyberpunk genre. The games take place in a sort of alternate history where the United States has experienced total economic collapse. Megacorporations rule the world, and cybernetic augmentations are widespread among the population. Along with friend of the channel and cyberpunk aficionado Kinsey K, I'd like to take a deep dive into the world of cyberpunk, comparing it to our history and our expectations about the future. Let's get started.
Let's get this party started!
He'll get what's coming to him. Night City isn't what it used to be.
Never met anyone tougher than you.
Fine. No clue what I'm stepping into, but no risk, no reward.
Besides the biotech upgrades of the cyberpunk universe, one of the most fascinating elements to me personally is the lore behind the game's setting. The timeline of the cyberpunk series diverges significantly around 1990, though smaller divergences occur before then, such as the births of various people and the establishment of various corporations. Following the end of the Cold War, the United States becomes involved in a conflict in Central America, known as the First Central American War. The nominal reasons for the invasion are control over the Panama Canal and to combat the influence of drug cartels. Paralleling the US's failed invasion of Vietnam decades earlier, the Central American conflict is costly and leads to economic ruin. From 1996 to 2008, a deep state cabal called the Gang of Four, the NSA, CIA, FBI, and DEA, and editor's note, put a fucking Breaking Bad reference in there, please, orchestrates the disintegration of American society known as the Collapse. Millions die in a period marked by martial law, and in the end, the US will never be the same. At the time, a global stock market crash in 1994 has led Japan and the European economic community to become the world's major superpowers, with the US losing its international standing for good. In the games, we see that Japanese culture has had a profound influence on, particularly, the American West Coast. This is a common trope in cyberpunk media, including seminal works like Blade Runner. The origin of the trope comes from the fact that during the latter half of our 20th century, Japan's economy was growing at a fast pace, and in 1990, it even surpassed the Soviet Union's GDP. Many predicted it would one day overtake the United States, but in real life, this never occurred.
It never happened.
Monetary policies enacted in the 1980s caused Japan's economy to actually overinflate, leading to a crash in the mid-1990s that has been followed by the country's so-called lost decades of economic stagnation. Many also attribute Japan's lost decades to demographic trends, specifically their declining population, although it's important to note that other countries with shrinking populations still have growing economies. In the cyberpunk universe, probably just as in the Blade Runner universe, the sequence of events that led to Japan's stagnation must simply not have happened, and Japan remains a global superpower. Back in the Western Hemisphere, the early 2000s see another Central American war that also ends in disaster. The US is still in the midst of the collapse, and in addition to its economic woes, the nation is plagued by pandemics, nuclear terrorist attacks, and complete ecological collapse. Concurrent with the chaos, though, is the proliferation of consumer technology in a parallel to our world's digital age. In addition to internet and satellite communications, cyberware, as it is called, becomes popular as well. Development of these prosthetics ramped up in the 90s after veterans of the First Central American War came home with severe injuries. The earliest cyberware takes the form of implants to replace parts of the body. At the forefront of this Generation Zero of cyberware is Japan and Germany. However, despite amazing innovations in the medical field, cyberware remains expensive. Technological progress allows cyberware to improve even further, with miniaturization in subsequent generations accelerated by post-war development during the industrial cyberware revolution of the 2010s. After the conclusion of the collapse, the United States is reorganized into several autonomous regions. Texas is the first to declare itself a so-called free state, bucking federal authority, like Texas always does.
Hey Patrick, what am I now?
And exerting local legislative supremacy. Many other western states follow, including California, which is later split up into North and South. In 2020, the US has some of the highest income and wealth inequality in the world. Nearly 2/3 of the population who remain after the collapse live in squalid misery, with another quarter disenfranchised and 10% controlling the vast majority of the wealth. Overburdened by debt, corruption, and homelessness, many bankrupted city governments turn to corporations to gain control of governmental functions and public services. Two of the largest corporations, Militech, headquartered in Washington, D.C., and the Tokyo-based Arasaka Corporation, which controls the economy of the Free States, engage in a decades-long power struggle. 4 corporate wars are waged between 2004 and 2040, with a unification war between the new United States and Free States being waged from 2069 to 2070, less than a decade before Cyberpunk 2077 takes place, which sees some Free States reabsorbed, but not all.
Hi everyone, this is Kenzie. The autonomous Night City, the primary setting of the game, is located on the border of Northern and Southern California. Boasting a population of 5 million people, it is a multicultural metropolis overrun by corporations, corruption, organized crime, and gang violence. In Night City, there is an ungodly amount of small and large-scale conflicts between these factions. The main corporation, Arasaka, remains at the top of this food chain, and no matter which gang it is, the Moxes, the Tiger Claws, Voodoo Boys, etc., they all equally hate the corpos at the top of the ladder. Working with the corpos only serves their interests, makes their pockets fatter, and while at any point they could shut down your cybernetics if they are Arasaka provided, order a hit on you, and leave your story incomplete. As mentioned earlier, each subsection of Night City carries with it different cultures and ways of life, but 2 things ties them all together, and strangely enough also keeps them separate: Eurodollars and respect. Eurodollars is the main currency in Night City, and everyone calls them eddies for short. Without Eurodollars, you can't get anywhere in this concrete jungle, and there really is no middle ground. Either you're a corpo working safely within the confines of Militech, Arasaka, or some other corporation, or you're a merc fighting for the piece of that pie. Cyberware, as it's shown in game, is used for augmentation of your body, ranging in severity from giving your body extra protection to literally injecting your arms with massive retractable blades. As is expected and as is explained in the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime, you cannot augment yourself too much, as then you may fall prey to the berserker adjacent mindfuckery that is called cyberpsychosis. While some people are stronger than others, that's why they're the main characters, people who fall prey to this infection are thought to be irreversibly affected and must be put down by MaxTac, Night City SWAT basically. Regina Jones, one of your many handlers in Night City, proposes a theory to you that she can find a cure for cyberpsychosis, so long as you do not kill any of them in the process of pacifying them all. Another thing about Cyberware, which has an entire side mission dedicated to it, there are monks that value their organic bodies religiously and does not want them tampered with. But where there are people who have their beliefs, there are people who seek to do a little trolling. The monks are at risk of getting kidnapped and forcibly augmented for no reason other than to be poopy heads? I don't know. The gangs? They kinda suck, but Cyberware is actually really cool to have, and there's no real reason why I can see I wouldn't have it besides sacrificing my humanity and blurring the lines between what is real humanity and what is being a shell of my former self. But Mantis Blades though, come on. No, but seriously, the way this game handles not only distributing cyberware to the player and then making you go through experiences that make you question the moral ambiguity and risk factor of them has always been interesting. And we've already questioned whether these augmentations would be feasible, but now the question should be, how long will it take? This reality ain't nowhere close to unreasonable at this point, and if there's anything I want from that future, it's my own Pan Am Palmer. We would be such good friends.
I can't.
I love being married to my husband.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below and don't forget to share it. That stuff really helps me out. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that as well so you won't miss future uploads, and click the bell icon to receive all notifications. And go sub to Kinsey K while you're at it. Big thanks for helping out on this project. If you want to support the channel even further, you can become a patron at patreon.com/OrangeRiver, link in the description. Or become a YouTube member by clicking the join button on my channel page. I just want to give a quick shout out to all of my donors who allow me to bring on outside talent like editors to help deliver more high quality content for you to enjoy. And big thanks to my newest top patron at the $50 Starship Captain tier, Herbcat. Welcome aboard. By becoming a patron or member, you get access to awesome perks like behind the scenes photos and videos, patron and member only polls, name in the credits, merch discounts, and more. Or you can drop a one-time super thanks or PayPal donation. All are appreciated. Links to my PayPal as well as my social media and merch store are in the description too. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you next time.